Then it's time for CM Punk to come out and talk about the Florida Panthers and Roberto Luongo, who they put up a backstage interview with Jackie Redmond with Roberto Luongo, and Punk comes in and he's just gushing over this guy. I mean, he was so excited to meet Roberto Luongo.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I wonder who would he be more excited to meet, or talk to, Roberto Luongo or Robbie Lawler?
It might be Luongo. Might be
Yeah,
Luongo.
might be.
I mean, he didn't give Robbie Lawler a shout out on his promo like Bilal Muhammad got a few weeks ago. Then he starts his promo talking about Fanatics Fest.
Yeah.
The punk rock CM Punk is slowly maturing. We'll state that, and he's asked frequently about WWE being on this hot streak, and what he's asked by fans, what do you credit this hot streak for? And he says the fans, and then he brings up like all these different fans that he has met, but whether over the weekend or in past interactions, including a girl at the autograph line that got up from her wheelchair telling Punk that she just beat cancer. And he mentions two other friends of his that are battling cancer, a woman who flew from Taiwan for 15 hours to get a picture with him, and another one flying from Jordan. Imagine going all the way from like Taiwan to Fanatics Fest.
So,
do you think that was the sole purpose of the trip?
I was gonna say, like I've actually I went to meet Kurt Angle at the Air Canada Center with my friend Jeff, who came here from Taiwan 10 years ago. Like, but
he flew all the way to Taiwan to meet Kurt Angle.
He told Kurt Angle, "Hey, I came all the way from Taiwan for this," and Kurt Angle gave him a personalized autograph. But I'm just saying, they probably came for more than just you, CM Punk. Maybe this was part of a big part of the draw, but they probably came for New York City as well.
He says those kinds of stories mean a lot to him, especially to him because I missed you for the last 10 years. Because I was just a recluse and I didn't have any fans to perform in front of. Like, it's not like this guy would. Like,
hold on a second. Don't you remember the CM Punk promo? Okay, the CM Punk wrestler, the pro wrestler CM Punk, was inactive for those several years after he left Ring of Honor. Came back for AEW. Now this is the return of the CM Punk sports entertainer. I suppose they're two different people. John,
did you hear the question he was asked about AEW and denying? He was like, I'm paraphrasing, but that's not reality. All these things, like I can perfectly understand someone with the benefit of time to reflect on things that can say, listen, was I perfect during my time there? No, there were a lot of issues in AEW, and they weren't solely on the shoulders of Phil Brooks. But to deny that, like, you didn't create some problems, to me is just like an absence of reality right there. That you were their number one star. The last thing in the world they wanted to do was fire you. And that's what they did. That's how bad things got. So I think you have to at least look at, listen, there were a lot of problems there. And I'm in a better place. I'm happy where I am. Cool. But to just deny, it's like none of that stuff is real. Like people
so
say,
the specific quote was, so this was from Busted Open, is what you're referring to, right? The quote was,
why don't you just read the quote if you have
I'm
it?
paraphrasing because I don't have it on me, but it was him saying that the whole stuff, like all what people are saying about him being a locker room cancer, he denied.
Right. And it's like, yeah, that's a strongly worded description, but were things all just peachy and perfect? Like, is that what you're like? There were a lot of problems, and I think you have to, as CM Punk, you have to be able to look objectively at yourself and realize, was I perfect in this scenario? I don't think you can come to that conclusion.
Right. Okay.
That would be my argument. So he continues on here. He thanks the fans that made him bracelets and gets in. It might be insignificant to other people, but maybe it's a Taylor Swift thing, but let's face it, I'm Taylor Swift for men.
Which I don't think is that crazy of a comparison. I mean, I don't know many people that are passionate for a celebrity, in wrestling, like CM Punk might command. So, sure.
All I wanted was for this strap match to get delayed until Bad Blood so they can license the song.
Well, they're probably going to have a match at Bad Blood too. So maybe
they've got to now. They've got to get that song.
I think that's a little expensive though.
No, that'll be a.
They already got Metro.
You think TKO can find find an amount to afford it?
Maybe they'll AI generate it and just promote it then.
Yes. So the bracelets are back. He says, let's talk. We talked about love. Let's talk about hate. Drew is obsessed with him. He made Drew a bracelet of his own as he shows off this big leather strap. Ran this by Adam Pearce and wants a strap match at Bash in Berlin. So he is tethered to Drew like he so desperately wants to be attached to me. And I want to whip this bitch. And he's going to take his bracelet back and leave Drew with lasting scars. So Drew comes out and he asks, Punk, you've seen me. Have you started drinking? I accept. But I need to get a receipt tonight for what you did to me last week, whipping my back, giving me a Instagram photo to share. And Punk says, I will hand you this strap and we can fight right now, but you have to give me the bracelet in exchange. And Drew explains that AJ and Larry are much happier and safer at home with me than you. So Punk says, Drew, you won't be safe in Berlin because you're attached to me. I thought this was going fine. I did feel like this audience, they kind of didn't know how to react to all this bracelet stuff at the end. And I felt like they really didn't land this promo at the end. It was like the teased physicality, you pulled that away. And I just didn't think they had like a great out to this at the end of this all.
I think the promo itself was really strong, but the closing line was not from Punk.
It ended with a whimper, and it started hot. And I liked all the stuff about like talking about the fans that he got to meet and stuff like that. But I mean, it
felt like a rare case where, like, I don't know if Punk had like forgotten, a line that was supposed to close, or just maybe he was relying on improvisation and just didn't come up with something good enough. But it felt like a very unusual flat out to what was otherwise, I think, a pretty good segment.
It was like this audience was like, okay, we're not even getting like a exchange of strike, like we're getting nothing. Sure. And he's not giving him the bracelet. And I didn't know how much that really resonated with people, but they set up the match. So this is our fourth match that they have announced for Bash in Berlin.
I really enjoyed Punk's promo here. Yeah, pessimistically, you can interpret it as an extended Fanatics ad, but I thought it actually played perfectly to the story by allowing him to get into detail about like what the bracelet represents to him. It's not just about his wife and dog, but it's about what seems to be a genuine love he feels for his audiences. It represents a connection that he has to people who have used him as a source of strength for their real battles with illness, for instance. So this is also why I really don't understand Punk saying last week that Drew can keep the bracelet. I don't care. That to me completely was unnecessary, because it's very clear they are still using the bracelet as a MacGuffin here by Punk having.
Well, I think everyone interpreted last week as they were eliminating the bracelet stuff, because like there was enough fervor that people were not getting into it. And to be quite honest, like in this promo, like once the bracelet stuff got in, like it did feel like this crowd kind of checked out of this. I don't know how many people are into the bracelet stuff, but you're completely right. Once you do that line last week and to bring it back this week, like choose one. We can't drive down both lanes of the road here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just me, but I didn't interpret maybe the audience derailing when he brought out the bracelets. I think it's an effective tool. It's an effective thing to use to motivate CM Punk to want to beat Drew McIntyre. In fact, I think it's a great segue into a strap match, which I thought Punk like really brilliantly explained about hey, like this is a guy who's obsessed with me. He constantly wants to be tethered to me, so why don't we do it literally by having a strap match? And of course, the tying to the wrist, I think is thematically very appropriate here as well, with given the bracelets for the strap match. So I loved the entire promo, but didn't love its connection to what Punk said last week, and obviously a bit of a falter in the close here as well.